I know and you know that chasing your dreams is hard and that it takes time to achieve your dreams. But do we really know how long it actually takes? Marcus Brownlee now has a YouTube channel of over 20 million subscribers. 20 million! That's insane. But do you know how many subscribers he had after 100 uploads?
Approximately 70-ish subscribers. I'm just looking at, wait now. If I go to my page, youtube.com/Marcus Brownlee, just click on the link over there. I have 74 subscribers.
If you watch his videos then, you probably would never have guessed that he'd grow his audience to this scale, that he would become one of the most important people in tech, spearheading an entire new genre on YouTube. All of his success started with a dream, but it happened because he kept going, no matter what the statistics said. Marcus Brownlee is not the only person who took years before reaching astronomical levels of success, because there is no such thing as an overnight success. You know the famous saying, it takes decades to become an overnight success. This is true across industries. Sabrina Carpenter, the pop it girl, had released 5 projects before finally breaking through as the phenomenon that she is today with Espresso, the song you probably listened to too many times last year. Eric Yuan, the CEO of Zoom, had his US visa rejected 8 times before finally moving to the United States to start his career at the age of 27. Vicky Tsai, the founder of Tatcha, that got acquired for $500 million, then paid herself a single salary for 9 years. Behind every success is a graveyard of failures, whether it be big or small. I knew it theoretically that achieving your dreams is supposed to be hard, that it is supposed to take a long time before you enjoy any sort of meaningful breakthrough. So, why was I still so impatient? If you're new here, hi, my name is Joy. Last year, I quit my job and left my entire life in New York City to chase my dreams to build a tech startup. When I left, I had a co-founder, and I thought I was onto something. And then we split, so I had to start over from zero. In the process, trading my studio apartment in New York City to a room in a house while sharing a bathroom with roommates. I felt so dejected throughout, like a loser, much like a failure. Somehow I kept going, and then I started working together with my now co-founder, Eunice. While I am confident that we are on the right path, it has been far from easy. So many rejections, so many no's, so many days where I am pushed to my limits, so many days when I wonder, why is it so freaking hard? But sometime this year, my mindset changed. I no longer see these curveballs as something to be wary of, but rather part of the journey. 8 months into the journey, when I was a solo founder, I thought about quitting. But I realized the reason why I wanted to quit wasn't because I did not want to start a company, or that I did not enjoy building, or that I hated putting myself out there. If anything, the journey up to that point made me realize what I suspected was true, that I love the feeling of starting something from scratch, that I love figuring out complicated problems with no real solutions, that my inkling that being a software engineer at a tech company wasn't the right career for me was right. Yet, despite the feeling that I was on the right path, I kept thinking about quitting. I kept wondering if I was on the wrong path. The reason why I wanted to quit was because I wasn't getting the ideal result I wanted fast enough. I was craving that external validation that kept eluding me. The truth was, even when I was a solo founder, I was making improvements every day. I just wasn't getting the results fast enough. I was impatient, especially when I knew people who worked on ideas for a few weeks getting funded right away. That made me want to quit. That comparison, that desire that wishing things came easily was what made me want to quit. It was never because I hated the work. It was because I craved that external validation. But when you're doing something completely new, something no one has ever done before, when there is no exact blueprint, you are not going to get that external validation for a long time. Because when you're doing something completely new, you will have to experiment, make mistakes, and fail. You will be a work in progress for a while, and only you can see the vision you have for yourself. That despite how things are currently, you will eventually get there. That is the price of having a dream. When I stumbled upon this Marcus Brownlee video on TikTok, it immediately changed how I view progress and growth, but it also made me reflect. If I truly want to achieve all the big things I say I want to, and I proceed to allow the lack of validation stop me, do I really deserve to achieve my dreams? The answer was no. I could complain and be sad, but I had to keep going and I had to be tougher. Or in the words of my mom, you can cry, but you can't quit. Then the second question comes up. How do you become tougher when the results are not there? When you are pouring your heart and soul into your craft and you have nothing to show for it? The unfortunate truth is most people don't become tougher because it is freaking soul-crushing. It makes more sense to quit than to keep going. But the people who keep going, I would say they have these 3 key traits: delusion, passion for the craft, and patience. If you go deep into the hustle culture niche of social media, no one will tell you to be patient, because patience isn't sexy. Patience can also feel a lot like not taking action or like giving up. There is definitely a balance between being patient and taking action. If you've already taken action, then patience is the act of taking root. When you plant a seed, it takes so much time for the first sprout to show. Even as you water it, nurture it, from the surface, it can look like nothing is happening. But just because you can't see it, doesn't mean nothing is happening. Beneath the surface, roots are forming. Patience is necessary. Everything good in life takes time. On particularly bad days, I like to remind myself of these things. We overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in a decade. All the best leaders, creators, founders are not those who do not fail, but are those who are able to navigate periods of setbacks with stride. I like to think back on my life too, where I have never achieved anything on my first try. Waitlisted by dream colleges before being admitted, 40-something failed interviews before my first job, 38 long-form videos while the subscriber count staunchly remained at 600. I used to see it all as a weakness, not being able to get things right the first try. But I realize now that these failures and setbacks made me stronger. They've led me to becoming the person I am today. And I don't know, I kind of like who I've become. Anyways, I think there's no fun in getting things right away. Have faith. Your moment will come.